How messy is this situation? Can it at all, even with this Instagram craziness aside for today, be put back into a black and gold box and run back next year?
Yeah, I do see a small chance of that, Rich, because Art Rooney has left the door open a few times publicly in his recent interviews that a conversation could go a long way. You know, I think it's even some of the players that I've spoken to that think it's probably over. They say if Brown comes in and shows some contrition for what happened in Week 17, that can go a long way. And, you know, asking around at the Pro Bowl where I talked to several Steelers players, they all came out full frontal in support of Brown. And from what I've gathered, a lot of the team leaders have been in contact about this whole scenario, and they basically decided they're all going to support him. They're prepared for what happens either way, and they want a more orderly locker room in 2019. But, you know, it's a tough dynamic because he's very well liked despite his issues. They love the way that he works. And, of course, he produces, but they really like the guy and hanging out with Brown and him as a piece of the locker room. He's just unreliable in a lot of spots.
Well, I mean, in a lot of spots. I mean, when the season's on the line, week 17, Jeremy. So what did happen week 17, best you can piece together?
Well, so from what I was told, Brown actually was in the building on Saturday at some point, but he was not there for the work session. So, like, you know, the walk through all that, he was not a part of that. He did disappear for most of that. And so from everything that I've gathered, you know, he felt underappreciated. You know, there was a flare-up midweek. I don't think it was as demonstrative as it was made out to be. After several players that I've spoken to who witnessed the thing, you know, and Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown did speak afterward, from what I've gathered. But there are a lot of theories out there, but I still think the prevailing theme is it's a combination of underappreciation, feeling maybe like a scapegoat. You know, I know he wasn't happy with maybe some of the criticisms from Roethlisberger earlier or after Week 12 in the Denver game about route running, things like that. The emergence of Juju Smith-Schuster. He likes Juju. I know they're friends, but him winning the team MVP, a lot of players I've spoken to feel that they can't say for sure, but they do feel like that's a major factor here, the emergence of Juju and that team MVP that he won.
And also, you were in your piece intimate strongly, I might add, that Brown's absence in Week 17 was self-imposed, all to point out how integral he is to Juju Smith-Schuster's success, that he draws double teams that allows Juju Smith-Schuster to have the season that he had, and he was going to show everybody that without him the offense would struggle in that regard, and sure enough it did, Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, I did speak to a team source that believes that to be the case, but the problem was Brown wasn't really talking to many people that week, so a lot of people are left to theorize on this situation. But, you know, they knew the dynamic and what was happening with the offense and Brown's place in it, and that was certainly a factor.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.